Happy Friday, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Ty Guy Travis, and welcome to Where is Xur, the IGN show where we talk about Xur, we find him, and we look at his inventory and make some recommendations about what you should purchase or what you should leave at the altar, as it were. All right, we are going to go find him now. He is on the EDZ, that's the European Dead Zone. You can find him down here in the Winding Cove, up here hanging out near some caves. So let's go and check him out. All right, once you touch down, you should immediately get on your Sparrow and go this way past these swamps, and you are going to go up and find him hanging out on some cliffs after traveling through a cave. And here we are. We've found Xur. Let's go ahead and see what he's selling. All right, so first up this week, he's got the tractor cannon. He sold this a couple weeks ago. It's a great shotgun. It suppresses enemy abilities, super useful in PvP. It also throws people off cliffs if you're using it the right way. Highly recommend it if you don't have it already. Then we've got Dragon Shadow, a nice Warlock chest piece. However, it is only 60 armor stats, which is not great, so I would probably skip this unless you need it for collections. Similarly, Lion Rampant, a very good Titan exotic, definitely in the meta. If you don't have it, you should definitely buy it. However, this one's only 62 stat, which is not great for an exotic, so I can't recommend buying it if you don't already have one that is this high or better. And finally, the Contraverse Hold, another great exotic. Again, this one is 63. I would describe that as mid, so if you don't have one that's better than this, pick it up, but as you can see, it doesn't really have any stats that are particularly spiky. Plus, it is only 63 overall. So, definitely not. Don't storm the trenches of Xur looking to buy this one unless you really need it for some reason. Next, let's look at legendary weapons. Selling Chroma Rush. This is a pretty great auto rifle. However, it's got Adrenaline Junkie, which I don't really care for. Dynamic Sway Reduction is quite good on auto rifles, so I would call that probably, lower tier. Some of the perks work for it, some don't. Cold Denial, on the other hand, with Zen Moment and Headseeker. Quite like this roll. Also, quite like this pulse rifle. I think it's a little underrated. It also has Alloy Magazine, Appended Mag, Full Bore, and Chambered Compensator, and a range masterwork. So if you need a good kinetic pulse, you could do a lot worse than this roll of Cold Denial. This is going to be one of my top recommendations this week. Speaking of top recommendations, Enigma's Draw, also a quite good sidearm, and this one's got triple tap and rangefinder, which are both good. Also has a handling masterwork. This is maybe a part where I don't think you really needed a handling masterwork, but hey, having extra handling on a sidearm is never a bad thing, especially since it's often a backup weapon. So I really like this one as well. I would probably put this at the top of my list for this week. Then we've got Fractithist. This is a pretty decent shotgun. Really like Trench Barrel on it. However, Ensemble is just okay, so I'm probably not going to recommend this one. He's definitely sold better rolls for this weapon. Distant Tumulus. Distant Tumulus. This one is not bad. Pulse Monitor and Quick Draw, but he sold better sniper rifles in the past. He will probably sell better ones next week, so probably don't need to buy this one. It's sort of just okay. Shattered Cipher. This one's got Field Prep, which I love on a machine gun. However, Adrenaline Junkie, again, is not really my favorite perk. For those who are wondering, if you don't know, Adrenaline Junkie gives you increased damage and handling from final blows with grenades or this weapon, which, can be good if you're into that. However, the synergy there with using a grenade, it really depends on your playstyle. I haven't had a ton of luck with it. And finally, Royal Entry. This one has Genesis and Thresh. Thresh, by the way, killing combatants with this weapon generates a small amount of super energy. Can be quite good with this rocket launcher. However, Genesis, breaking combatant shields with this weapon, fills its magazine from reserves. This one can be very good on a rocket launcher, since reloading is kind of the most annoying part about using a rocket. So not a bad roll this week on Royal Entry. It's also got a Velocity Masterwork, which is quite nice on rocket launchers. So I'd put this up there with one of my recommendations. However, the real winners for me are Enigma's Draw, Cold Denial. These are pretty good. These won't let you down, guys. Trust me. And finally, let's look at the legendary armor. Titans this week, unfortunately, have a lot of low stat armor. We've got 361s here that are really nothing to write home about, except for maybe this one, which has got a high recovery, but with 61 overall stats, I would probably skip it. And then this one over here's got 63, which is not bad at all. However, it is sort of mid at this point, so and frankly, the mobility is a little bit higher than I typically like on my legendary armor, so I would probably skip over this one. Yeah, nothing really to get excited about in the legendary armor category for Titans. And with that, let's move over to our next class. All right, now we'll be checking out the armor for Warlocks.
The nine see your valor.
Warlocks this week, well, they've got some great news. You guys really lucked out this week in the Warlocks over there. You've got this chest piece, which is just okay, probably bad. These gauntlets, which are just okay, probably bad. These chest piece, which is even a little bit worse. But you've got this helmet, which is quite nice if you're trying to make a mobility Warlock. It's got 64 overall, and it's got 24 mobility, which is huge. Again, I don't know about your use case for mobility. My Warlock tends to be a slow guy with lots of recovery and intellect, but yeah, if you're trying to make a mobility with maybe something you're doing with the new Arc 3.0, you could certainly take a look at this. And then finally, the boots. These boots, I don't care who you are, these are nice. 66 overall stats. They got 20 intellect overall, which is quite spiky. And even the mobility at 16 is not bad. So again, maybe a more specific use case if you are playing a Warlock that wants mobility, but 66 overall, man, it is hard to not get excited about that. And that is Warlocks. With that, let's move on to our last class. All right, let's take a look at what they have in store for Hunters this week. Hunters, I hate to break it to you, but you have a very similar situation to Titans. These gauntlets are laughably terrible, just really rubbish. Do not buy them. And everything else is sort of just okay. 60 here, definitely would not buy that. 63, not bad. Low mobility might be good. High resilience might be good. But again, 63 overall, not super exciting. And then finally, another 59 over here. So Hunters this week, unless you really are in need of a helmet with high resilience, you don't have a ton of options this week. And unfortunately, that is all she wrote for you and Xur. That's it for Where is Xur this week. I hope this was useful to some of you. Again, I'm Ty Guy Travis, and you can watch this every week. We take a look at Xur, we tell you where he's at, and we look at his inventory. And with that, for everything related to Destiny 2 and Xur, stick with IGN.